Hey, Facebook. This is Lorena with Synergy Behavior Solutions, and today I want to talk about lots of people's favorite topic, and also a topic that I think during COVID has become a lot more important for a variety of reasons, but especially because everybody seems to be getting puppies. So, I'm going to talk about puppies today. And just like pretty much everything I talk about, I feel fairly strongly about this topic. And I also think that you can talk to every dog trainer and get a different answer as to what constitutes like the right way to raise a puppy. I'm going to talk about like 4 or 5 different things today that I think are essential components to understand if you have a puppy now, if you know someone who has a puppy, if you are planning on getting a puppy soon. I have Yoshi here with me today. She's decided to be on her boundary, and she's going to earn a little bit of her lunch, hanging out. Hello, Elise. Thanks for joining. I used to teach puppy classes. I worked for a really great company here in Portland called Plucky Puppy. I taught puppy training classes, ran puppy socials, did private training, etc. If you don't know what a puppy social is, you should, especially if you plan to get a puppy. And essentially they are, a well-run puppy social is a carefully structured socialization activity for your puppy to interact with other age-appropriate puppies and developmentally appropriate puppies, and to encourage positive dog play and pro-social interactions, as well as to learn about different techniques and exposure to novel objects and sounds and experiences for your dog. The way that we ran our socials was a little bit of puppy play, a lot of learning how to settle around distractions, introduction to novel objects, and I always like to teach a training game so that people can continue to build their relationship with their puppy. So there are lots of really terrible puppy socials out there, so make sure that you ask a lot of questions and trust your instincts when you start taking your dog to socials. You can do more damage than good going to a poorly run puppy social, which I'll talk more about in a little bit. So the first thing that I do want to talk about on that topic is this concept of socialization. So I think that in this country, like in the United States, we tend to have this very different culture around dogs in general. And one of the things that I think they do a lot better in European countries and in the UK is an understanding of what socialization is for puppies and even for adult dogs. So in this country, it seems that there are lots of folks who get puppies and want to do right by their dogs, as they absolutely should. The average dog guardian is a fantastic human who just wants to do the right thing and wants a companion for the next 10 to 15 years. And so one of the things that I think is missing in the discussion of socialization of small puppies, of puppies today, is that people think the story is that socialization is your puppy meeting every single person and dog that they see. There's even like lists that you can get, which can be helpful in a lot of ways, but about like a checklist for socialization. But that's not actually how socialization works. Socialization is not just about exposing your dog to an overwhelming number and variety of people and dogs. And often it's a very narrow perspective too. People think that socializing their puppy means taking them to play with lots of dogs. And I think that has maybe something to do with, in this country, we're sort of obsessed with dog parks, and that's not really a thing in a lot of other countries. A fenced place where a bunch of dogs have like a fight club or a rave. Because of that kind of like hyperfixation on interaction with other dogs, I believe, and I have seen it lead to a lot of behavior problems down the road. So, having said that, I want to say that my explanation of socialization is that socialization is all about creating positive pairings with novel experiences in their environment. And so puppies need to be and are constantly exposed to new things. If your dog has only been alive for 10 weeks, then every single thing they encounter is a novel experience and is socialization. The leaf that blows across the road, the car that drives by, the way that you move your hands, the sound of your dishwasher, the neighbor's dog, the crow that's yelling at you from the wire, whatever it might be. These are all novel events for your puppy, and your puppy's job in that moment is to decide whether or not they are safe or not safe. Constantly deciding, safe, not safe, safe, not safe. And it is to an animal's evolutionary advantage to generally assume that they're not safe. Because if they're not safe, then they're able to react quicker to get out of a situation and to survive. So, because we take puppies and dogs and we take them into our world where we are constantly subjecting them to novelty and expect them to be completely fine with it, we need to understand that it's actually an active participatory experience of socialization, and the more that we can create a diversity of experiences for our puppy and to pair those experiences with good feelings, and by that I mean tasty treats, the more that you're going to end up with a confident and well-rounded dog who's able to confront novelty all the time throughout their lives and be mostly okay with it. So what I mean by that is, if you have a puppy, you should be pairing every novel experience that puppy has with a delicious, tasty treat. And you should be paying really close attention to your dog's body language, communicating how they are feeling about that experience. Just because you think that the little kid, hello Rosemary, just because you think that the little kid at the park who is running towards your puppy is totally harmless, your puppy might not feel that way. So one of the things that you should learn as a new puppy owner is how to say no and how to advocate for your puppy. I strongly advise against your puppy meeting almost any dog, and I also strongly advise against your dog meeting every person they see. Be able to say no, we're just watching, be able to say no, we're in training, etc., to protect your dog from negative experiences. Think about socialization as inoculation from behavior issues down the road. And also make sure that you are socializing your puppy and taking them out into the world at a level at which they can handle, where they are calm, engaged, relaxed, not scared, not trying to hide, not trying to get away. You need to do this before your dog is fully vaccinated at 16 weeks. So basically, as soon as your puppy comes home, socialization begins. Now, having said that, another thing that people tend to want to do with their puppy is to take them... So I see a comment that's also here in Belgium, still done, exposing puppy to as many different persons and dogs as possible. Puppies have to play with each other in dog school, and I try to change this. Yeah, and it's not that I don't think that puppies should play together. I think that's a super great thing to do, but it should not be the focus of socialization by a long shot. And unfortunately it is in a lot of places. Definitely here in Portland, I think there's kind of like this fixation on getting puppies to play together, or getting puppies to play with other dogs. And one of the biggest mistakes I think that people tend to make when they get a puppy is they overload and overwhelm the puppy with new experiences. So you invite everyone over to meet your puppy, you take your puppy everywhere you go, you take them on way too many walks for their physically developing body and for their developing brain, you have them meet way too many people. It's really overstimulating. And when you're that young, one negative experience can outweigh 100 or even 200 positive ones. So your job with your puppy is to be advocating for and making sure they're having positive, calm interactions with novelty. And also, this brings me to another point, making sure they are getting enough rest. The vast majority, actually every single one of the puppy owners that I worked with, you're digging your lunch tonight, huh? That I worked with, their puppies were not getting enough sleep. Puppies need so much sleep. So your puppy needs like 18 to 20 hours of sleep a day. And just like with toddlers, our puppies don't know what they need, but you do. So that means giving your dog a nap time every couple hours is super, super important. Put your dog in a crate or in a pen where they cannot do anything but sleep. Letting your dog run themselves ragged until they're exhausted and pass out in that super cute little pile that you can post on Instagram is not good for them. Give your dog structured rest, or you will have the little demon that runs around and bites everything and steals everything and destroys your home. Overtired is not a good thing and is not a fun thing for puppies. So rest. Give your dog nap times, and as soon as you notice your dog is starting to do that thing that you hate, like when it runs around and starts biting and its eyes glaze over and your puppy, you're like, this is not cute anymore, your puppy is overtired. You need to get ahead of that and give your dog some rest. On that note of biting and running around like a demon, yes, that is normal. Whatever your puppy is doing that is driving you up the wall is normal. One of the most common, a lot of dog training groups on Facebook and stuff, and also when I was teaching puppy classes, I feel like the most common complaint that people have is they get this puppy because it's super cute and fluffy, and then about 2 or 3 weeks later, they're like, oh my gosh, how do I get my puppy to stop biting? My dog is evil. Yes, your puppy is supposed to bite. our puppies and our dogs, their mouths are their hands. So if you think about an 8-month-old, 10-month-old child, they grab everything. It's very annoying. Same with puppies. They're just doing it with their teeth. So it is super, super normal for your puppy to bite and to bark and to run around and to steal things and to shoot and to chew stuff. Your dog has no idea what they are supposed to chew and what they are not supposed to chew. They just know that there's stuff and it feels good in their mouth. So, yes, whatever your dog is doing, it is normal. So, understand that punishing your puppy for these behaviors is not the way to go. Redirecting your puppy to appropriate things they can interact with and appropriate ways to do normal dog activities. Biting, digging, chasing, running, barking, playing, tumbling, pulling, tugging, all of these things are normal dog behaviors. And if you don't want an animal that does them, then you probably should not have gotten a puppy. So find ways that your dog can do these things appropriately and make sure your dog is getting enough rest so that it is easy to redirect them and they are able to learn. Next piece. There is this really great movement where people are starting to understand that socialization does need to happen before the animal is fully vaccinated, because there is a super important critical window of impressions and engagement with novelty that is vital for having a confident dog. Keeping your dog in a bubble until they're 16 weeks misses some really important developmental milestones. Your dog needs to be out in the world having experiences and positive pairings at their own pace from the moment you bring them home. Having said that, there is sort of this thing about people now saying, also you need to start training as soon as you come home. That is true. There's this old school mentality that you weren't supposed to start training your dog till they were 6 months or a year or whatever. That's true. The struggle that I have is with the concept of training in general. So most people, when they think training, they think I need to train my dog sit, down, stay, come. Yes, that is dog training. That is absolutely not the focus for a puppy, and it should not be. I can train sit, stay, down, come, leave it, all of these things to any dog at any age. That should not be the focus of what you are doing. Instead, you want to be building a relationship with your puppy, and you want to be building a confident puppy, and you want to be teaching your puppy the life skills that you would like your adult dog to exhibit. So to me, training is deciding, long term, what do I want my dog to do in this specific situation? And then it is practicing those behaviors at a developmentally appropriate level. So, for example, a really common one is my adolescent dog, so this is you in a year, my adolescent dog always jumps on people. So if you bring your 10-week-old puppy home and you do not manage the environment, the puppy is going to jump on people. And what we practice is what we get better at, and it becomes a more ingrained pathway in our brains. But if you know that you don't want your 10-month-old golden retriever jumping all over grandma, then maybe prohibit the animal from practicing that behavior by applying management. So management is crucial for puppies. Giving your puppy free rein gives them the opportunity to take one of any infinite number of choices, 99% of which you do not want your puppy to do. So make the choices you do like really, really easy. So for example, if I'm having visitors over and I just got my puppy a week ago, maybe I'm going to have my puppy in a puppy pen or in a crate or on a leash, and I'm going to be rewarding them in the location that I would like them to be as an adult dog when visitors arrive. Letting your puppy rush up to those people is teaching them that that is the behavior that they're going to exhibit down the road also. The same thing is true with walking down the street with your adorable puppy that everyone wants to meet. If you don't want your 11-month-old St. Bernard puppy rushing up to every person they see, then maybe don't allow your 10-week-old St. Bernard puppy to rush up to every person they see. Instead, think about what you actually want your adult dog throughout the course of its life to do when it sees another dog or person on the street. I want my dog to ignore them. I do not want my dog to think they can meet every dog they see. And if that's what you're practicing with your puppy, that is what your dog will be doing when they're older. So think about what you want long term and practice that behavior at a developmentally appropriate level. That includes management. That includes leashes, it includes tethers, it includes crates, it includes baby gates, it includes exercise pens. Put these things in your home to make the choice you like the easiest choice for your dog. Having said that, in terms of training, the number one best thing that you can do forever, honestly, for your dog, but definitely for your puppy, is to not feed them out of a bowl. You should be ditching the food bowl with your puppy. You also should never, ever, ever leave the house without treats, which is basically just your dog's daily food. If you're clever and efficient in doing this right. So treat pouch, pockets full of your dog's kibble and some extra tasty treats every single time you leave the house. And I literally mean every single time. So when I was teaching puppy classes, I would say this always during our orientation class, and inevitably I would run into one of my students out and about, and they wouldn't have their treats. So when I say every time, I really do mean that. So you should be constantly feeding your dog when things happen around them. Like you're sitting at a cafe for a few minutes because your puppy cannot sit there for an hour. That is unrealistic. But you are practicing a little bit of your puppy just hanging out with you and watching the world go by. You are feeding them every time a truck with a trailer rattles by. You're feeding them every time they see a dog across the street. You're feeding them every time a stroller goes by. You're feeding them every time that kid yells. You're feeding them whenever that person says, "Oh my God, can I pet your puppy?" and you say no. So ditch the bowl, feed your dog their daily food ration through socialization, positive pairings experiences, and also building relationship with your dog. Food is one of the most exciting things that happens to your dog, so you might as well make it an event. And when I say training, hi Diana, I don't mean sit down, stay. I don't mean everybody wants to teach their dog to sit, and sure, that's fine, do what you want, but focus instead on engaging your dog and using their food to play games. So what that might look like is puppies shouldn't be going on really long walks. So maybe you go like half a block, mooching around, letting your dog sniff, looking at the world go by. It's very, very exciting just in your front yard for your puppy. And you have a handful of treats, and sometimes you get your puppy to chase you, and then you feed them. Your puppy looks at you, you say yes and feed them. Your puppy sees a person on the street and you say yes and feed them, and teach them that when stuff happens around them, it's a really good reason to check in with you, and that being close to you is worth it and is valuable. So most people, as they, when their dog is approaching adolescence and they start struggling with some behavior problems, the biggest struggles people typically have are things like recall, their dog not listening, not wanting to be near them, choosing to bugger off and do their own thing, leash reactivity type stuff, lunging and barking at other dogs or people, and often like stuff around like resource guarding, etc. I'm not going to talk about resource guarding here, but I will say very briefly, the moment your dog comes home, if you give them something, always trade them for something higher value before you take it away. If they get something they're not supposed to have, trade them for something, don't rip it out of their mouths. That's just my piece on that. So these sorts of things like leash reactivity and not coming when called, all of these are things you could have prepared for when your dog was small. By teaching them that when a dog is on the other side of the street, it really pays off to look at you, not to bark at the other dog or think they get to say hello to them. When you are out and about, paying your dog for choosing to stay close to you rather than running off and doing whatever they want as a puppy is a really great way to boost your recall down the road. Oh, where am I at on time here? Oh, we're done. Okay, I have to say two more things. The last piece is, our puppies should not be self-employed. So what I mean by that is letting your puppy run wild in your house while you are trying to do that Zoom call. They're going to practice all of the behaviors you do not want them to practice, like chewing on your carpet and ripping up your blinds and pooping in the corner and barking out the window. Your dog should have no self-employed time, at least I would say for the first year of their lives. Providing enrichment like food puzzles, stuffed Kongs, long-term chews, these are all super important for puppies. You should be investing in them. Using management like pens and gates and crates to make sure that your puppy is having rest time during the time when you can't directly interact with them. And making sure that you're not just sticking your puppy in the yard and letting them figure out what they want to do with their time. Because I promise you, and I will bet you lots of money, that whatever behavior they choose in that moment is not going to be the behavior that you want them to be practicing. It is so much easier and so much more fun and so much more pleasurable to shape the behaviors we do want right off the bat than try to stop the ones we don't like down the road. So, quick recap. Your puppy needs a lot more rest than you think they do. Ditch the food bowl. Yes, that thing they're doing is normal. And make sure that you're creating positive pairings when it comes to novel experiences, which again, for your puppy, is literally every single thing they experience. Please drop any questions in the comments of this video as far as puppies are concerned. Please note that I did record a puppy webinar at the beginning of the COVID situation, all about raising a puppy during COVID, with lots of Obviously, I'm biased, but great ideas in terms of what to do and how to do it when you have a puppy. And I actually think that all of the elements in that webinar, it's available on demand on our website. All of those elements are applicable whether you're in a pandemic or not. Really valuable stuff. You should go check it out. It's only like $15 to watch, and we probably will be recording another one to do kind of like an updated puppy webinar pretty soon. Let us know what your questions or concerns are, and if you did get a puppy, congratulations. If you're about to get one, be prepared. Have fun, and keep your cool, and don't be afraid to put your dog in a crate and give them and yourselves a break. Have a great day.